Welcome back to Confessions of a Recruiter with Blake and Declan. We are on a global mission to build the world's largest community of recruiters so we can all connect and succeed together.
That's right. If you want to check out more of Confessions of a Recruiter, jump onto confessions.tv, subscribe to our bi-weekly newsletter, access merch, and if you want to chat to us directly, join our Discord at XR House with the links below. Now, we hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to another episode of Confessions of a Recruiter. We're here with Nathan Anning from the Andersen Partnership. Welcome, Nathan.
Thank you, guys. Got it.
Okay, yeah, I got it. For those wondering what Nathan means by that, it took me about 3 or 4 goes to that intro, but we got there in the end. Thanks for standing with us on that. But mate, thanks for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
You have an outstanding 2.5-year career in recruitment.
It's been pretty quick. Yep.
Yeah. So walk us through it, mate. How did you first decide to fall into recruitment 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, sure. Well, my background is in sales from 6.5 years with Flight Centre. Spent 6.5 years there managing and leading teams, worked around 4 different businesses in my time there. During COVID, the business ended up not being what I loved anymore. People were coming in demanding their $200 refunds from Qantas, which as the middleman, you don't have that money anymore. So after being abused for 6 months, I decided I can't do this anymore. I'm going to part ways with Flight Centre, which was a real shame because I really, really loved that job. Took 6 months in a role with Fitness First as a sales manager. Really different sort of sales, very, very transactional, over and over, doing whatever it takes to get people in the door and then never speaking to them again. So that was not for me. Absolutely hated it. So I left
Really?
that.
You don't walk around the gym and go, geez, mate, 6 months you've been here, you're looking good? And
No.
What are your weight goals? Come on, let's get there.
Oh, we had to do that, but it was more speak to them, over and over and over, get them on the phone, cold call, get them to join up, never speak to them ever again. That's just not the side of sales that I love. So left that role, took a little break and had to really figure out what it was that I wanted to do. So lots of reflecting on my time at Flight Centre. What was it that I loved about that role? Relationship building was probably the biggest thing for me. Loved having those customers come back to me year and year again, booking all of their travel needs. So I had to do a lot of research, and I came across recruitment. I knew it was a sales role. I've never loved sales, but I'm quite good at sales. So did lots of research and figured this would probably be the right way to go. Saw an ad on Seek. It was through a rec, and then he placed me in the business. And
Who was that?
John Burke.
Oh, Berkey. I remember you saying that.
Yeah. How good.
His first placement.
How was Berkey as a recruiter, mate?
Yeah, what's it like on the
Give
other
us the
side?
inside goss. He might be listening right now thinking, oh, that's the candidate I got into recruitment. So what's he really like, mate? We won't tell anyone.
No, he's amazing. He was awesome throughout the process, going through that process with him and understanding what the role was, what he did, how to get me the job, the sort of things that he'd asked me, the pre-close and everything. You look back now and you're like, oh, okay, I understand what he was doing there. So it's pretty cool. It was a great experience. He's actually placed quite a few people in our team over the last couple of years as well. So yeah, it was good.
Nice.
I love that. So you applied for a job with John Burke, starting recruitment with a big flamingo, and you thought, this is it.
This is it. So he got me, he booked me in a couple interviews with a few different people, went in to meet with TAP, the Queensland manager at the time. Loved what they were selling me. They were selling me the new dream, and I was like, okay, John, I think this is the place I want to go to. Cancelled the other interviews and then accepted a role with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you had a couple of recruiters lined up. You met with TAP, and then straight away you thought, nah, this is all I need.
Yeah, pretty much. They talked a lot about an adult environment, which was really important to me at the time. We were about to have our first baby, so flexibility in terms of getting up and going whenever you need, that sort of thing. Treat me like an adult or treat you like an adult. That was just all really important to me, and a really small, intimate team at the time as well, which I really, really liked going into a new role. So,
and that's run through? Because, mate, that's not most recruitment agencies. I think there's not most recruitment agencies would be that flexible.
What is the flexibility like?
It was just at the moment we now have a 4-day work week, so that was introduced about 3 or 4 months after I started. So we work Monday to Thursdays, never a Friday unless there's a public holiday during the week. We swap that, but otherwise it's exactly as it sounds.
So There's always a bit of a controversy on 4-day work week. People hate it. People love it. People don't understand it most of the time. My understanding on a 4-day work week is you work the same hours in 4 days and you get the Friday off. Is that what you do?
No, that's not actually a 4-day work week. It means actually...
It is. You're working for 4 days.
No, but you're still working 40 hours or 38 hours.
Oh, so 4-day work week is literally
On your contract,
working
45.
4 days instead of 5.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's why it's a 4-day work week.
It's pretty.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
32
sense
hour week.
actually. Yeah. No, but I thought that's what 4 days was. You just still work the same hours in 4 days. So that's not what happens.
Not what happens
No.
at all. So Monday to Thursday, 8 till 5. And yeah, it's exactly what it sounds. No strings attached. It's really cool.
Do you get 80% salary?
No, still 100% salary. Still same comm structure, everything like that.
Why do they do that?
I think at the time, the business coming out of COVID, they wanted to attract recruiters to be able to work with a growth strategy, bring on more recruiters, bring in more revenue, and it's worked as a really good retention strategy for us as well. Once you have 4 days a week, like not a lot of people want to not do 5 days ever again.
So you've got a Friday tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Thursday. Oh yeah, sorry.
Friday.
Yes, yeah, my Friday tomorrow. Yeah.
What's that mean?
It's his last day of work
Last
for the
day.
week.
4-day work week.
Oh,
3-day
yeah,
weekend.
yeah.
Jeez, mate, you're really not together today.
Jeez, yeah, sorry, mate. I'm a bit scrambled, mate.
So, and then what happens on the, say you got a deal to close and you're on your day off, you're going to do it, hey?
Yeah.
If you haven't hit your subbies for the week, you're going to work the Friday.
Literally. And I think the whole team know the benefit to picking up the phone on a Friday. If they've got processes going on, they know that it's in their best interest. There's going to be, revenue for the business, coin in their pocket. So if you need to do it, you just get it done.
And is it always a Friday? The whole office wouldn't stop on a Friday. You'd mix people up on different days.
No, everyone has the Friday off. The only time it will ever change, is if there's a public holiday earlier in the week, then we swap the Friday. That becomes a work from home day. Most people go into the office though, just because it's fun. Friday.
Have you only ever worked a 4-day work week in recruitment?
My first, I think, 3 or 4 months was a 5-day work week. Alex and I at the time were sitting in our office. We got an email that got sent out to us, and it was like, "Okay, guys, tomorrow's going to be the last Friday you ever work." And we're like, "What do you mean? Is this real life?" And yeah, we never worked a Friday again.
That's insane.
Like,
I don't
is there
know.
any
I
other
would feel
recruiters-
so uneasy doing that for my staff. Is there any rationale behind it?
Just I guess the strategy behind
Retention.
retention, growth. Yeah.
And mate, you've obviously had 2 very successful years. Your first year was 520,
Mhm.
second year 650,
6:30. Yep.
630,
Yep.
and you worked 4 days a week.
Correct.
Holy shit, dude.
Imagine what you
awesome.
could do if you worked 5.
You could have increased your billings by 20%.
Oh, no, imagine. There's definitely been a bit of Friday work here and there, that's for sure. But yeah.
Does anyone still come into the office on a Friday, or is it locked up? Or
Sometimes people do. I know there's definitely been times I've gone in on Friday. Some of my team, if they've got stuff going on, they know that they can't get stuff at home, get stuff done at home, so they'll go in on a Friday if they need to, but not too often though.
Have you spoken to any other recruiters or know of any other recruitment agencies that do 4-day a week?
I've only heard of other ones who may do it, but it's very KPI focused to be able to have the 4th day. Or
So
the
no
fourth
matter
day off.
what,
Yeah.
it's just like a part of the weekend now.
Yeah, correct.
far out.
So you got a
cool.
junior recruiter who's fumbling through, they're not hitting target, they're into month 3.
And they're
they've
working
done
4
one
days a
deal,
week.
They're working 4 days a week.
Pretty much, but I'm sure they know that if it's in their best interest, they'll do a bit of work on a Friday. But
Yeah.
all of our rookies, which is a lot of our team is, they'll just do 4 days.
Can we get, I know you're saying it's about retention. I totally agree with that. But there's got to be some sort of performance increase of morale or something from working 4 days a week. Is there any sort of more information you can provide to us from a data perspective on the benefits of 4 days a week?
4 days a week, I guess. Well, our Brisbane team, we've gone through 40% growth over the last 2 years. Why we've had a 4-day work week. So I think people are more productive in those 4 days. They're on the phones more. They're hungry for it. They know that they've got to fit all of their work in those 4 days if they want to have a completely work-free Friday.
So their targets are still the same.
Correct.
What would your KPIs? What are the KPIs in the office? Like if you were just a 360 recruiter banging it out.
Yep.
Have you got like interview KPIs, revenue KPIs?
Yeah, so we work towards, I guess, 20 phone calls a day, connected calls with clients and candidates. You want to be booking around 8 meetings a week. Interviews, you're trying to get as many as you can throughout that as well. So yeah, that's probably where it's at.
Yeah, okay. So there's still output needs to be there for the 4 days.
8 client meetings.
Combination of client and candidates.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, gotcha. And so you've gone from rookie recruiter to director in 2.5 years.
Yes.
Why have you done that? How has that happened?
So originally, I'm very, I guess, career progression focused, goal orientated. I always want to know what the next step is for myself. So when I came on, I wanted to know, how do I get to senior? How do I progress to that quite quickly? And so I think I did that in my first 8 months, which was something along the lines of 180K in 6 months or something like that at the time. Following that, stepped up to the team manager role, and that's where KPIs changed for progression around growing people underneath you, staff numbers, NFI.
Was anyone getting, because there was a manager when you started, did you kind of like take over their job and like basically nudge them out or something? Did you? Was there a little bit of, what was the chat in the office? Like, I'm coming for you.
No, unfortunately, the person at the time had a medical condition and had to leave. So after I stepped up to senior, it kind of just was tasked to me to grow the Brisbane office and have done so ever since.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made light of that, but sorry to hear that there's a medical condition. Yeah, sorry about that one, guys. So you're a director now, and you've been a director for how long?
Only last month, so just a month now.
Fresh.
Fresh.
Love it.
Yeah.
So what are the new like responsibilities that you have from being because it was a team leader?
So it went from senior to Queensland manager to associate director up to director.
Okay,
You've
so
had 4 promotions.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Do
Every
you put
6
your hand
months
up
you
for
get
them,
a
or do they
promotion.
Sorry, mate, you go, mate.
No, yeah, I'm not even on this show. Just
Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate. I got questions. I need answers to. No, you go.
So, mate, so every 6 months.
So anyway,
No.
I'll stop, mate. Come on, mate. This is a professional podcast.
Just keep going. You can have this one.
No, you have it.
So every 6 months, you're getting a promotion, thereabouts.
Approximately, yeah. It's been a bit that way.
And what was your first? So you built a team in Flight Centre.
Mm-hmm.
You had 4 teams that you were managing. How many people across those teams?
So it was 4 separate teams. So it was in one business, then moved on to another one after a certain amount of time. Like to go into businesses and see if there was ways to improve them, and then after a certain amount of time would move on to another one, a new challenge. The difference between I guess growing my own team here and growing a team back then was they had their own internal team. So you could get an email on a Thursday afternoon and they'd say, you have a new novice starting with you on Monday morning. You wouldn't know who that person is. Nothing about that. But yeah, growing this team, I've had the whole power to be able to pick and choose who we wanted to bring in, and kind of grow it that way. So So
how did you map this out? Because I've spoken to the recruiters that are new in the market, in like obviously interstate companies coming up here trying to build a team, and it's a hard job. Like attracting recruiters, we know is hard. It doesn't matter if you're an ASX listed agency or you're hiring your first staff, but it's difficult to get gun recruiters. Or just the volume that you've created in realistically how long, a year?
The bulk of our team has grown this year. That's correct.
Yeah. So what was the strategy? What was the outset? Did directors have much input? Were they just like, hey, Nathan, you have to have a team by this time, make it happen?
Sort of. So when I took on the role of senior and was tasked with growing the team, my strategy was to sit down with the other employee that I had at the time. Her name's Alex. And I said to her, I'm like, you and I are going to be growing this team. What sort of culture do we want to create? What sort of environment do we want people to come into? And what sort of personality types are going to fit best with ours to be able to shape this team? And so her and I sat down and had a really, really honest conversation about what that looked like. I also had to come up with my own vision. So what I kind of foresee for this future and for the future. And at the time I said, the vision that I see for this business is that we are a place where the best people work among us and the best clients and candidates work with us. And I've kind of lived and breathed by that over the last couple of years as growing the team. So last year we got up to, I think six staff in 2022. We lost a couple along the way, as you do. Recruitment's not for everyone.
You scare them off, did you?
Yeah, we scare them off. And I think it was a real learning experience as well. Like I think I never sold or talked about how hard recruitment can actually be in those interviews. Yeah, I think people didn't understand. We had one guy who was with us for like not even 72 hours. He came in and he's like, I didn't realize this was such a phone-based role. I'm like, what do you mean? And anyway, he didn't come back one day.
Yeah.
So what do you tell people now?
Yeah, it's just a lot more it's a phone sales based role. You are going to be on the phone. You're going to be cold calling people. You're going to be meeting with however many people a week. You're going to be facing a lot of rejection. You just oversell, I guess, all of the pain points and the worst parts of it, so that if someone is like, I can deal with all that, then you're like, okay, you're probably going to be okay at this.
And are you guys proactively sourcing? You got 2 people that have experience. Did they come from, like, what's the mix between proactively sourced candidates, applied, and a rec to rec?
So we've had, at the moment, I think there's 4. So Alex and I were both originally from Johnny B. And then we've stuck it through. We've had 2 that have come on recently from rec to recs, and then the rest I've kind of gone out and found myself. A couple of referrals internal from the business around Australia as well.
What are you looking for when you're interviewing and trying to find recruiters to join the team? Is there anything in particular you're like, they got to have?
Yeah, your secret weapon.
Yeah.
We won't mention her, mate, just for her.
What's the magic sauce, mate?
I think back in the day, I used to just want to like the person. If I thought they would be, like, if we liked them, they'd be
Can
a good
we have
fit.
a beer with them?
Yeah, literally. Those people haven't worked out. So, so now that's only part of it. I think these days, doing like just testing them in the interview process, if they've got no experience, particularly if they haven't really done much sales before, getting them to do a little role play with you. Do you think that they can handle all of the rejection? Can they handle the phone, I guess all of the volume that they're going to be doing, meeting people? Can they hold conversation? All those sorts of things.
I want to have a chat to you about you going from being a rookie recruiter to like director level in 2.5 years again, because I think that's really important to kind of dive a little deeper on how you were able to achieve that, because there's a lot of recruiters out there that are still doing the same shit after 5 years and they haven't moved sideways, up or anything, and they're almost possibly a little bit stuck or burnt out or feel like they've hit a glass ceiling. So did you put your hand up or make it clear to your manager that, hey, I'm looking for the next promotion, I'm looking for the next promotion? Or are you just in a good environment where they recognize you without you having to, like, you know, wave your hand up for recognition?
Yeah, combination of both of those things. When I first started, I made it very clear that I have goals and I want to progress in my role. So I guess making that evident from the very beginning has definitely helped. And then part of it has just been, I guess, through being the experienced recruiter, having team management experience behind me, and then being able to get the team to the goals that we need to hit to get to that level. So it's worked really well. What's the secret?
Were you expecting the promotions as quickly as you got them?
No, not at all. The senior promotion, I mean, I had a tracker. I knew every single deal. I'd put that on the board. I'd know how close I was, and so it got down to the end of it where I was like, "Hey, I'm getting promoted now. That's really great." It's kind of the same with the team manager role, and then the rest of it has kind of just been through natural. Growth of headcount has been part of it. The rest of it has been around team performance. So if the team's doing well, then the business really, really rewards people and can progress careers, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, gotcha. So who do you report to? You report into Sydney?
Yes, our MD is based in Sydney, so yes.
Yeah, gotcha. How does that relationship work? Like, I've always wondered what the relationship is like between, you know, someone senior in one state and the other. Do you catch up once a week, once a month? What's the relationship like?
Yeah,
reporting into Sydney.
Yeah, once a week we do like a team leadership call with all of the directors around the business in Australia and New Zealand, and then I'll have like a one-on-one catch up with him once a week as well, just to go through any pain points, struggles, challenges, talk about wins. The thing that I like about him is he loves to talk around what's going well. I think that's really, really important rather than focusing on the negative. So it's really good.
Does he share like things that's happening in other, like, what would you call other states, I guess, around what they're doing well, and have you tried this and tried that? Do you get like visibility on revenue and figures and other styles in other states? Yeah, well, the good thing is you can pretty much reach out to anyone else in the wider business. If you know that their strength is in one area, you can kind of send them a chat and say, hey, do you mind if we jump on a VC tomorrow? We'd just love to pick your brain around a few things. So there's lots of visibility. The leaders of the business all really, really work well together as well. So there's lots of support wherever you need it, which, yeah, it's great. Love that. So what's the kind of next steps? Is there another promotion coming in 3 months, or where are we going with this? No, I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing right now. Yeah. I think we've gone from 2 to 10 in the last 12 months. We're going to have an 11th start with us on Monday. So let's get this team up and running and see what we can do with it. That's going to be really crazy, mate. Because the dust is. Well, when was the last hire that you had? So we had 2 start with us a few weeks ago. Yeah, so the dust is still kind of settling. Everyone's still trying to find their groove at the moment.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the team? So there's 10 plus you?
There will be 10 plus me on Monday, yep.
Oh, there's another one coming on Monday.
Yeah.
What? Okay, well, I've got a new question then.
Uh-huh.
How do you justify hiring another person when you got two people starting a few weeks ago?
The good thing is we've structured it now. So we stepped up my colleague Alex. So she's a team manager now. So she's looking after 3 or 4 consultants who are reporting to her. That frees up my time for the existing consultants that we have to help grow and mentor them. She checks in with me, every morning around what's going on with her team, and then we just work collaboratively.
So she's a bit of a gun too.
She's a bit of a gun too.
So Johnny smashed out 2 pretty good placements there.
Yeah.
How good. He's probably
a couple of case studies.
Yeah, holy.
Hey, just wanted to jump in here. We got a confessions hotline, so give us a call, send us a text if you want to share any juicy stories, or even just ask a question that's been on your mind, because we'd love to hear from you. The phone number is 0485 865 483. Enjoy the rest of the show.
So how much of your time now is spent between managing the team and trying to get the team's performance up, as opposed to billing yourself and bringing in revenue directly?
The biggest challenge for me at the moment is finding that time to be on the phones and still, service clients and candidates properly.
Yeah.
In terms of percentage, I would say 60-40, helping everyone else, I just be really disciplined with my own time around, okay, I need to have 10 to 12 every couple of days on the phones where no one interrupts me, and I solidly just service my clients and candidates, because if I don't do that, it's not going to happen. So I make sure that happens.
And you're 100% contingent. That's always...
The business is contingent and retained. I'm the moron who is the contingent recruiter. That's following last week's episode.
Yeah.
I've never sold a retainer. It's all been contingent since I started. The business is predominantly contingent, but we have a director in place now who's pushing the retained side of things.
Yeah. But you've obviously built a solid desk. Like, there would be a lot of return business.
Yep.
If you were doing 550 one-off deals,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty hard
Yep.
to do year on year.
Yep.
So do you ever... You just said before the podcast that it's just never even a topic of conversation until lately. Now it's becoming a bit of a theme that's going to get implemented in the business.
Correct.
What's your current sales process when you built this cold desk? What was it? What did you have to? Because you knew nothing about insurance prior.
Correct.
So how did you get up to speed? Implement.
I think it's probably what most recruiters do. I would sit down with the candidates and use them as my learning source. I would say, pretend I know nothing about your role and what you do, and can you give me a high level overview of what that looks like? Just doing that with 4 people a day, every day of the week, over and over and over, you get an understanding of what these people do. And then once you start to implement the client side of things as well, you can kind of start to see what the clients are talking about, match those dots with the candidates, and that's kind of where it's come from.
Nice.
Yeah, okay. So you learnt insurance from the candidates.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a smart way to learn your industry is just having conversations with the candidates. But what about building your recruitment desk as a rookie recruiter? I'm assuming, did you get a bunch of clients or leads, or did you have to start from scratch? What was the method to getting from 0 to billing 500 in your first year?
We had clients in the database, so the initial conversations with those people, but the insurance desk hadn't been touched for over a year, so they were cold clients. So it was just re-engaging relationships. Hey, we've worked with you before. This is who I am. This is what I can bring to you. Would love the opportunity to support your business again. Do you mind if we catch up? Let's go for a coffee. Get to know them. Get to learn their pain points. Hopefully over time, gain their trust, and then placements. The good thing now is that all of those clients that I started with at the beginning, I've probably got a really, really good solid repeat base now that will come back to me. So I'm not actively having to do all those cold BDs anymore, which is quite cool. That's probably where it stemmed from.
So are you mainly client, get the job on, fill the role, or are you candidate, float them out and fill the role that way?
A little bit of both. I would say these days it's mainly clients come to me, say, hey, can you please support us with this role? And then I'll find the candidates for them.
Interesting. And so do you have a process, like a BD process? You mentioned before you got to get really strict with your time.
Mm-hmm.
What 10 to 12, was it?
Yeah, we do. So I do Tuesday, Thursdays. I'll have 10 to 12 where I'm just on the phones, no interruptions. I won't book any meetings over that time. That's just because I really need to be disciplined to have that time. Otherwise, I can't be bringing in new candidates for the clients.
Oh, okay. So the 10 to 12 is on the phones trying to fill jobs.
Correct. Yeah, it's essentially candidate sourcing twice a week.
That's not much time.
No.
That's not much time at all. So how do you, what else are you doing in your diary? Like what else is there?
Lots of meetings. So catching up with existing clients is continuing to build on those relationships. Lots of coffees from the couple hours that I'm doing a few times a week, booking in lots of candidate meetings so that the rest of my time is filled with lots of meetings and then having that product and just staying in contact with those candidates over the next however long. I placed a guy recently who I met almost 2.5 years ago into a role. So, just maintaining relationships and feeding that pipeline essentially.
And how spread it is across each insurer? Is it, because there's obviously insurance for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Are you spread? Do you have just niche markets or you just recruit for any broker?
General insurance. So we don't do any life insurance. So pretty much it's whatever broker. Yeah.
Far out. And and then like, what's the biggest pitfalls you see young recruiters get in that you're like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that from what you've seen, or what's made these second round of hires more successful when they've started?
I think the first thing would be just telling them in all honesty the way the role can be difficult. If you can paint that picture for them initially, and then they know what they're getting into, that can be the first thing. The second thing is going to be they have to be able to get on the phones. If they can't, if they don't have that mindset that they can pick up the phone and call someone and have that sales pitch, they're not going to succeed. We've definitely brought on people in the past who, they talk a really good talk. When it comes to picking up the phone, they haven't been very good at I guess, holding conversations. So I'd say that's probably one of the things.
Yeah, see, I find a lot when recruiters first start, unless they've got like the dog in them, where they're like, I need to, it's almost like the desperation of desire to get something happening. That's what you need to be successful. If you're kind of like a little bit, I'm sure something will pop up or something will happen, or there's more of just like this, it'll be what it'll be type of mentality. Generally, they're the ones that don't really perform and don't stick around. So when I'm trying to find recruiters, I'm trying to find those kind of semi-desperate, like, I just want to really sink my teeth into something and make it work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting take to think about what rookie recruiters need these days, because rookie recruiters really 0 to 2 years experience, to be honest, haven't experienced the true recruitment hustle, I wouldn't think. Because you started after COVID, hey?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, you're in the golden eras, mate. You come back to us when you go pre-COVID. You would go 40, 50 cold calls and meetings, and then finally after 3 days of hustling, you might get a client say, I've got another recruiter at 10%. Will you do the same? And you're like, fuck. I'll take it. I need something right now. That was generally what it was. Mate, like
do you
pre-COVID.
reckon that's what it's like, or just because we were so inexperienced in the way we were working?
Oh, look, probably a bit of both, to be honest with you. Probably a bit of both. But what about starting recruitment? Learning recruitment is tough. Mm-hmm. Learning recruitment while you've got 2 young babies, that would have been pretty tough too. So how old was your first child when you started? Was he or she born yet?
She was not born yet. So Rory was about 3 months away.
No wonder you were hustling, brother. You had a reason to make it
Yeah,
happen.
you had kids coming, mate. Yeah. Did that make it easier?
It made you have a purpose, right? You know what you're working for. You know why you're doing the grind every single day, and you've just got to work harder, especially when you know families at home, and you've got to be the breadwinner for everyone, right? So, yeah.
How do you go with that pressure? Do you feel like it's a bit of pressure?
Oh, there's absolutely pressure. There's so much pressure. My wife hasn't worked for the last 2 years now, so it's still that pressure.
Yeah.
Now we have a second baby as well, but she's really supportive in the fact she knows sometimes there's going to be late nights at the office where you're stuck back just finishing up booking those interviews or calling those candidates after work that you need to. There's definitely the pressure.
Well, at least you get the extra day off with them.
Correct, yeah.
True.
Really, really good.
Actually, yeah. That'd be great. I was about to ask, how do you juggle family life and trying to be present at home with 2 young kids and then also trying to operate at a high level in recruitment?
it's a little bit of chaos, to be honest. So the mornings I'll wake up because the kids wake up. I'll try and get ready for work while they're running around and demanding milk and wanting food, etc. So it's just chaos. Some nights I get home to put them to bed. Some nights, unfortunately, I miss it. But then the reward is, 3 full days every weekend with them. Friday mornings I get to take both of them in back-to-back swimming lessons, which is pretty cool. Get to avoid the Saturday, Sunday crowds for that, which is nice. So it's a good reward for, working really, really hard during the week.
Yeah, see, that's actually one of the really good things about having a day off through the week is everything's still open for you to do.
Correct.
As soon as you hit a Saturday and Sunday, it's like your options go in half because other people are having a weekend as well. So, yeah, maybe you might be onto something with this 4-day work week.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you ever consider going to 5 days?
Oh, I don't think I could.
Really?
Well, yeah, I'm too used to it now. And, like that day with the family is just, it's so valuable these days. So
True. You know what? If a rec to rec hit you up, I'm just trying to think if I was working 4 days, rec to rec hit you up and went, Nathan, I've got an awesome director level role for you. It pays a little bit more than you're getting at the moment. Maybe it's a 5-10K salary. Comp structure's amazing. Great culture. 5 days a week. Ooh. You'd be like, oh, I don't know about that. Can they do 4? Like, no, they don't do 4.
you try to talk about the one that hit me up for a while with you.
Oh, yeah.
Jess
Kimber. Yeah, let's talk about that. Did she represent Bandito well?
It was just a brief chat over LinkedIn. I reached out to her about her personal branding.
Oh, really?
That's how that started.
Yeah. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Because, I was having a chat to Jess. This was, 3 months ago?
A while ago,
about 3-4 months ago, trying to find a manager for my team. And so she hit the market pretty hard. And then we've got Josh Ainsley. Have you heard of Josh Ainsley?
I think he's been on your podcast earlier.
Yeah. He used to be a cop. So he's doing really well. But it's actually funny because I obviously don't tell her who to approach or anything. She just, I just hear it in the grapevine. And then all of a sudden someone's like, oh, dude, do you want me to come join your team? I'm like, sorry? Like, Rec to Rec's hit me up to join Bandito. I'm like, oh, fuck, there you go, hey? Well, it's nice to be on the receiving end and know that the recruiter's doing their job properly. So that leads the question, mate, what's wrong with me?
Nothing. Wrong time. I'm really happy with what I'm doing right now, mate. Nothing.
Well, you don't like Bandito, mate. Should I be offended that you didn't progress with the opportunity? Is it because we don't do 4-day work weeks?
Maybe that's exactly what it is.
No, that's good. How often do you get hit up with by Rec to Recs?
Oh, quite a few a week.
A few a week?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, a few a week, I would say. I won an award earlier in the year, one of the Saucer Recruiter of the Year awards, and I think in the week after I won that award, I had something like 26 approach me or something.
Holy moly.
So cliche, they just build a hit list and contact all the award winners.
Yeah.
What are the approaches like?
A lot of them were quite, congrats on your award, went in from that sort of angle. A lot of them are very, blunt and direct, and those ones are kind of just like, I'm not interested in talking to you. Most of them, if I'm like, oh, this is a decent message, I'll say thanks, but no thanks. So,
yeah. Because so Declan and I haven't been, recruiters for, an employees, I guess you call it, for, 5-6 years respectively. So we don't ever get Rec to Recs hitting us up. But sometimes you'll hear in the office like, ooh, Blake, I've got a Rec to Rec hitting me up, or I've got another agency wanting me to come work for them. And I'm like, oh yeah, interesting. But it's interesting to know how often that happens for more senior level recruiters, because I don't know, I guess senior level recruiters would be few and far between.
Compared to just recruiters?
Yeah.
Well, the opportunities for them would, way less. Well, there's 2 managers per 10 people.
Sure.
Yeah, true.
I'm sure the recruiters would just smash you with even consultant roles, though.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't actually do their research. They do the LinkedIn recruiter search, says consultant in the title, so you get all those ones. Since becoming director, I haven't had probably only a couple, not like I used to get them though.
What about cut through with clients? Because I noticed massively when I went from consultant to director, it's way easier to book meetings, way easier to get shit done. If you jump in with a consultant, you're going to get an outcome. Maybe because we're on the call, or just an email campaign.
Maybe you're just a gun, mate.
No, it's not that. It's just a title. Change your title.
Yeah, no,
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think you definitely get that credibility that comes with the title, and I think your team as well. Going out to meetings with them, they know that they've got your backing, and I think they feel a little bit more empowered knowing that their director is coming out with them as well. So I think that works really well.
What do you think the biggest perks are of having that directorship title?
Biggest perks. I know I love seeing my team succeed. That's probably one of my biggest
That's
perks
not a
for me.
perk, mate. That's too
That's
politically
the reason why he
correct.
does his job.
What?
He's there to grow the team and motivate the team.
That's
make
not
sure
a
they do
perk,
well.
mate. That's just a job. I'm
4-day
talking.
work week.
I'm talking about 4-day work week. Yeah.
4-day work week.
I'm talking about kind of extending on what you said. Like you can get into client meetings way easier because you've got this director title, credibility, authority, that kind of stuff. Is there any other kind of perks that you get with being a director title?
Not really.
Increase in salary, better comms.
Yeah, increase in salary, better comms, like team bonus structure, all those sorts of things. Yeah.
Can you be the only director? Like, are you the top dog now? And if someone wants to come in, they've got to wait for you to leave?
No, in Brisbane right now, yes. But in some of our other offices, we have like 2 directors in the business. They just split up the different
desks.
divisions, that they're looking after.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but your division is everyone in insurance?
No, everyone's across all of our disciplines that we operate in. So accounting, finance, insurance, wealth management, and legal.
Yeah. Okay. And so you manage all of them in those divisions?
Correct. Yeah. So Alex sits under me as a team manager, looking after the legal and accounting space. But then she reports to me. So.
How do you manage someone in a niche that you're unfamiliar with?
Yep. Exactly the same as you manage people. I just don't know about what the clients and candidates are doing.
Okay.
And I'm very, very transparent. If I go out on meetings with them, I'm like, hey, I'm an insurance recruiter. I have no idea about what you guys do, but you can tell me all about it.
You say that to
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, all right,
Yeah.
we're going to tell you.
Yeah, I think honesty, transparency is the only way to do it, and they're really receptive to it, so it works.
People like that raw honesty, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
And that's why so many people like me and you, Declan, is because we're just totally raw and honest.
We're just so simple, mate. We can do everything else.
I was waiting for a bit of a soundbite there, but I got nothing from you, mate. So, you feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so directorship, there's a few perks there. You still manage the team, though, in different disciplines. So if you don't know what they're talking about, I guess it would only be specific to maybe industry jargon
Yes.
of that. What kind of KPIs do you have of these guys? You've got 25 calls. Is there any revenue KPIs?
Yeah, so the goal is for everyone to be hitting around that 30K per month across everyone throughout their first few months. We appreciate people probably aren't going to be doing that. We have had some people come in who are just weapons and smash it. We have one girl that we brought on this year who did 200K in her first 4 months with us, which was just
How?
insane.
With 1 year recruitment experience.
Just 1 year
Who's
recruitment
that?
experience. Her name's Jade. She's our little weapon that we've got
Jade,
at the
what's her
moment.
last name?
You'll find her on my LinkedIn. She was the one paying $5 to say her name today. So.
Oh, really? There you go. How good, Jade, putting $5 in. I guess she is. Sounds like a hunter, mate. She wants the recognition.
Yeah, she's gone to Europe for 2 months, so she needs the dollars.
Yeah.
Finds a way to make it happen.
Yeah. So no, that's really cool. So you got a team of 11 now. Well, 11 as of Monday. And I'm assuming that's going to be a lot of that's going to be taken up by training.
Yep.
And so do you have a sort of training program internally, that get recruiters up to speed that you find works well, or what does that kind of onboarding training look like?
Yeah, sure. So day one, I'll always take them out for a coffee when they come in for the day, go through what their first week looks like, book in all of their little training sessions with myself and the team throughout the first week. Just do that day one initiation sort of thing, lots of modules and all that fun stuff. Throughout the first week, do little bite-sized training sessions with them. So it might be, phone screen training, sourcing on LinkedIn, sourcing in the database, looking at the Seek talent stuff, how to write job ads, all those sorts of things. Break that up over the first week or two. Do one-on-one sessions with the consultants as well, just to learn different consulting styles, which I think is really beneficial. They can see how different people do it. Some people do things really well in different areas, so that's great. Our MD does bi-weekly training with all of the newbies of the business as well, which is really good. Yeah.
For how long?
Wow.
Like an hour twice a week, just 5 VC for all of the offices.
For the
around.
first 6 months, 3 months?
First 3 months, yeah.
That's
Good
solid.
on him.
Yeah.
So he's still quite invested.
Hands on.
Yeah, really.
Super hands on.
Really, really hands-on.
Is he billing?
No,
He doesn't bill.
no, he just looks after everyone.
Yeah. How many recruiters are in the business overall?
I think there's approximately about 60 at the moment.
Shit, that's a pretty big agency.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And does anyone get to like buy in or get shares, or is there any kind of, what do you call it, long-term incentive? Is there any
LTI?
kind of,
Yeah.
the reason I ask this is there's a employee benefit scheme or something like that, that, you know, a couple of different, not agencies, kind of like, I don't know, share businesses, I guess, talk about to retain staff and to help grow the business and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything like that at TAP?
I think so. I'm not too aware of it, but I think once you get up the next level after being a director, you can get onto the board at some point. I think that's where that comes in, but I'm not too sure about it.
Yeah, cool. That'd be interesting to find out because, I mean, if you keep getting promoted every 6 months, well, mate, you might take over the MD's role very shortly, I reckon.
Couldn't do that.
No, just kidding. So is your office in the city?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And so what's kind of next for your team? You're just going to let them settle in for now?
I think, yeah, just a real focus on getting the people that we have up and running. I think we're in a really, really good position right now that the right people are in the right roles and on the right desks. So just spending the next 6 months really, really, you know, honing in on their skill set, growing them that way, and seeing where we can take the team.
Yeah. So you've got 6 people building cold desk in like 4 different disciplines?
Some of, I wouldn't say they're super cold. Some of them have had people on the desk previously warming the relationship. Some of them we've split the desks up, whether that be by seniority of role or geographically. So relationships have been somewhat warm. I'm a big believer that there's not really a thing as a warm desk. I think it's all the individual. The relationships are with the individual. So if you come in with the right mindset and the grit work, then you can build up anything from nothing.
Yep. And do you do morning huddles, one-on-ones?
Yeah, so monthly one-on-ones with all of them individually. And then we were doing morning huddles every single day. But as we've grown, it's just, you know, time's a bit precious and going around everyone individually, it takes a bit of time. So we're now doing that just on Mondays and Wednesdays for about half an hour in the morning.
Mondays, Wednesdays as a group huddle?
As a group huddle, yep.
Wow.
What's the style of the group huddle?
Yeah, so Mondays we talk about previous week. So what was the activity for the week around calls, meetings, revenue brought in, just talking around all those sorts of things. Setting goals for the week. What activity levels are you trying to hit for this week? What have you got at interview stage this week? So what candidates might be getting jobs this week, essentially doing a bit of a forecast. Wednesday, we check in on those goals that we've set on the Monday to see how we're tracking for them, celebrate the wins, and see how we're going to close out the week. It's pretty much what it looks like on a rotation.
And so what if someone's not achieving what they should be? Is there any kind of disciplinary action or escalation that you do internally to try and get them where they need to be? What does that look like?
Yeah, sure. So it's all on the side, one-on-one, just talking about their numbers. So you
don't berate them in front of the team?
No. I might get a little bit curious and say, hey, why haven't you done any meetings this week? But no, it's all one-on-one on the side. I really, really like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and if I can see that they're trying, that's what I really want to see. It's just some people, I think they can't connect the dots, unfortunately, and so we do one-on-one check-ins, set weekly goals individually, and then just manage those over a certain period of time and see how they grow. Or
what's the line in the sand? How do you go, oh, look, you know, I don't think this person's cutting it. Like, how quickly do you try and make that call to go, nah, they're out?
I think I've definitely learned a lot over the last year. I had one person last year on the last day of their 6-month probation. I made that call, which I think was a little bit too long. Recently, I had one who, after 2.5 months, made the decision.
You know when you know.
Yeah.
And you lie to yourself until it happens.
Yeah, and it's always hard if you really like the person as well, which makes it even harder. So you come up with your excuses. But I think now, since stepping up and trying to grow this team, just come a little bit more, I guess, business acumen in that sense too.
You know what I find? If you put the right type of pressure on somebody, generally they'll self-elect and want to walk themselves out the door. Like if you just keep dialing up the pressure, they will get the hint and go, all right, I'm obviously not cutting this. It's probably time for me to move on.
Sure.
And you almost kind of get away from the whole sit down and, you know, you never want to like surprise someone. Generally, anytime you exit someone for poor performance or they're not the right fit, 9 times out of 10, it's not a surprise.
Yes.
Like they're kind of expecting it.
Yes.
But sometimes when it is a surprise, it's pretty gut-wrenching. You're like, what do you mean? I thought I was killing it. You're like, whoa, dude, I have not been managing you effectively. If you think that you've been doing well and then all of a sudden this is a surprise to you. But what's that kind of line in the sand for you to go, okay, this person isn't cutting it? Does it come down to activity? Is it attitude? Because I guess 2.5 months, it can't be Billings.
Yes, I think it comes down to there's a combination of both activity and the behaviors, I guess. Like if you can see that someone's doing the activity but they're not getting outcomes, like your inputs are going to be your phone calls and your meetings. If you're not getting the outcomes, which is your meetings and your interviews, I think there's you can try and give someone further training, but if they're not connecting the dots properly, then I think you just understand,
And do you do any personality testing or anything like that?
I've done disc profiling in the past, which I've done with all of my team just to understand each other, like what sort of personality types we have in the team. But
What are you?
What do you got?
I'm an eagle. So
An eagle?
Dominant, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, D.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Do you only hire Ds? Do you find yourself doing that?
I've got a few of them in there. I've had
Yeah.
to balance out the team this year just to make sure we've got a few of each.
And same with your clients. You would find it very easy to talk to a D personality and sign them up.
Correct.
And be like, mate, I'm going to get your results.
Correct.
Let's just focus on that.
Direct
someone
approach, facts and figures, yeah.
Someone who's like steady, wants to take the time, you'd probably just get the shits and move on.
Yeah.
So that's probably why you enjoy, you're probably really good at contingent recruitment as well, because you're just calling people, we'll get it done.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's really interesting if you learn how to communicate to all the other ones, because predominantly you communicate to the one you are.
Mm-hmm.
But we learn if you could communicate to the other three personalities, you could pretty much quadruple your customer book.
Sure.
Yeah, we Declan went through this like sales training. One of these takeaways I thought was really interesting because, generally when you sit down and interview someone for your own business, if someone projects similar traits as you, and instantly you're like, this person's going to be a fucking gun.
Correct.
And unfortunately, that's only 25% of the people.
Yeah.
So the other 75% who could be really, really good too, but because they don't project the same personality traits, you're like, oh, this guy seems like he's a plonker. He's not energetic enough. He's fucking not cutting it. But they're probably really good. They just display different personality traits and value different parts of a process. Instead of maybe, as what you said, facts, figures, and results, people prefer, systems and processes and how you get there.
Yes.
Some people prefer authority, credibility, and brand and all this kind of stuff. So there's all these different types of personalities that sell well towards each other. So I think that was actually a really good takeaway that was Swish.
Ryan, Swish sales training.
Big Ryan. Yeah, and something that I've learned around being a little bit more conscientious of people without a similar personality style to me, to not think that they're not good because they're not projecting what I project, to kind of be a little bit more, I guess, what would you call that? I think you would call that considerate.
Yeah.
Is that more considerate? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of Ds on your team because that's who you are?
I think there's definitely more Ds. We've got, I think it's a pretty mixed balance at the moment. The thing for me with my leadership style is I've really had to learn how to work with the softer, like the fluffy people who are a bit more emotive.
Who are the fluffies, mate? Tell us, name and shame them.
There's a couple of them. We won't name and shame them. They're great people.
They're probably sitting there thinking, he's talking about me.
Yeah, they will be.
Yeah. And what's been your approach with them to get the most out of them?
Yeah, anytime you need to do some sort of change management or something, bring them out of the office before you roll it out to the people and just tell them one-on-one, so that kind of, I guess, has that trust in them. Takes away that initial shock factor, I think, as well. And then just a bit of a softer approach rather than firing off directness and facts and figures at them, fluffing it up a little bit.
Yeah, never be like, hey, let's get in the boardroom and have a meeting.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit. Be like, hey, it's nothing major. I want to see you at 2 o'clock. Are you available?
Exactly.
Never be like, yeah, do that again. Sergio. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, nice. Well, it's been really interesting to learn about your journey, getting from Flight Centre, Fitness First. Was it Fitness First?
Yeah.
Oh, you were smiling at me like I made a mistake there, but
Got that one.
I got that one. Yeah, that's not the intro, mate. We're past that now. Fitness First, and then getting into recruitment, and then kind of scaling up into a director level and growing the team significantly. Like it's super impressive. And we definitely wish you all the luck in that. We'll be definitely following your journey and waving the flag, mate, and seeing how it goes.
Thank you.
No worries. Well, thank you for joining us on Confessions of a Recruiter. Hopefully you've had fun.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you.
No worries. And we will see you in the next episode.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to another Confessions of a Recruiter podcast with Blake and Declan. We hope you enjoyed and got a lot of value and insights out of this episode. If you do have any questions or you would like to recommend someone to come on the Confessions podcast, we would love any introductions. And remember the rule of the podcast: like, share, and recommend it to a friend. Until next time.